Hi, my name is Windy Borman. I'm the executive producer and director of the documentary Mary Jane's The Women of Weed. So in 2014, I moved to Colorado, and that was right when the recreational or adult use sales were happening in the state. And I was not a cannabis user. I'd actually never tried it before. But I couldn't ignore all the success that women were having in the industry. And finally, what piqued my interest is I heard this statistic that 36% of senior leadership in the cannabis industry was women, and the national average is 22%. But you look at other industries like finance or film, which is what I do, and it's even worse. It's down at 12%. So there was something about the cannabis industry that was attracting women to it. So I started doing some preliminary research and just interviewing as many people as I could to wrap my head around this idea. And I finally realized that not only was cannabis related to gender parity, it was also related to social justice and environmental sustainability. And those three topics had been present in all my other films that I'd done. So I knew that even if I wasn't a cannabis consumer, I could help elevate and celebrate these stories of women who are building corporate responsibility into the industry. And that journey became Mary Jane's. It's been really interesting to take the film on the road because we've gone to multiple communities, and some of them have been in legal states, and some of them have been in states where they're actually trying to legalize medical use for the first time. And if you're from a legal state, it's really easy to forget where we were just a couple years ago. I was at a screening recently in Oklahoma City because Oklahoma is finally voting on medical. They have an opportunity to legalize medical use in June. And I had people coming up to me in tears during the film saying, I can't see my grandchildren because I use cannabis instead of pharmaceuticals. Or I can't see my children, or my doctor kicked me out of his practice because I had questions about medical cannabis and he wouldn't listen to that. And that's really ground zero right now, right? And cannabis as a conversation brings together multiple viewpoints. You know, you've got everyone from conservative libertarians who are thinking, well, the federal government shouldn't tell us what our state can do, but it also brings together people who really value human rights, plant medicine, and in the middle of all of that spectrum, that's where I find these other social issues like social justice, the war on drugs, big pharma, gender parity, environmental sustainability. Can we even use the word organic when the federal government owns that, right? And those kind of fit in to this spectrum of all the things we need to talk about. From my perspective, I don't necessarily really care where people start on that, but as long as they arrive somewhere in the middle and they recognize the intersectionality of all of these ideas and how the plant invites people to have that conversation, I think that's how we're really going to change hearts and minds.